basically, support and hanger tags or identifying fields can be now brought in, that data can be brought in from a PCF or neutral file, as well as a component GUID. And I'll touch on that in a minute to explain what that is. You can add this tag information in the piping input. All the information is included in the input echo report. And all the tag and identifying information displays on graphics and in Isogen. And that by the same sense, you can bring them in, you can also take them out. So this information appears on the text space output report, but you can also export it out to MDB. We have a lot of clients working with systems that integrate with Caesar 2, and so we think this is going to be really well received. You can use some other third-party product to bring a PCF or the neutral file in and have the data automatically be in Caesar 2. You can generate and work with your data and do your analysis, and then you can export it out to another third-party system such as S3D, Smart 3D. So we think this will be very well received from integrating clients, but also bring benefits to all of our users. Now, I mentioned support tags, but along the lines of support tags, I did want to mention previously we've always displayed 4 restraints on our dialog. We were able to calculate and manage 6 degrees of freedom for restraints. Well, now we display all 6 degrees of freedom on the restraints piping input dialog. So you'll see here I've put squares around the restraint 5 and 6 to show you that those are available. There's new scrolling in this window, so you can see all your restraints. And you'll notice by the green arrows that I've also added the tag. We've also added the tag element here. And as I mentioned, these can be imported in through a PCF or through the neutral file, or you can manually type them in here in the piping input. By the same sense, these items also appear on the list input columns. So you can see outlined here with the arrow, the tag column, where you can view and input in tags. And there's also this read-only GUID column. The GUID is a component ID. It's kind of like a serial number for a restraint. And these are only read-only. They can be brought in through the neutral file or PCF. It's just for you to be able to know if you have to refer to that serial number in your business practice, it's available and you can see it here. And you'll see on the next screen, those numbers can be quite large. So that's why we chose to just put it on the list input to keep this dialog, your restraints dialog, very readable still. Now I mentioned restraints, but this is also available. The tag option is also available on the hangers piping input. So you'll notice by the green arrow at the top, there's a hanger new tag field. You can manually input this information, or again, it can be imported in through PCF or a neutral file. And down in your list input, it's the same as the restraints. You can see the tag information. You can also see this GUID component that I mentioned just a minute ago. The GUID should benefit our Smart 3D integration users and anyone that has a component ID that they just want to reference in the product, but they don't want it to be changed. Now we've also added better identification for elements. So if you have a need to identify a from to node element, you can do that through the element name. You'll notice this element name field is down at the bottom under the line numbers in your piping input window. I've expanded it out here so that you can see it. It operates much like the node name field if you've used that field. Basically, this information is a way of tagging your from to node and giving a label to it. The information carries through to graphics, Isogen, MDB, and applicable output reports. And it might, we have suggestions that it might help you identify things such as flow meters and valve flanges in your system, just a way of labeling them if you'd prefer to have that naming scheme. And I've mentioned PCF. If you don't use PCF, this may seem very foreign to you, but those that do use it to bring in information from other systems, we've added a customization to the mapping file. So you'll see in the diagram that I've shown the support name, support tag, and support GUID. PCF has a certain format of attributes And we needed to be able to customize these so that if you work with a vendor that uses a slightly different naming scheme, generated PCF I've shown at the bottom. The support type now has a new format of support-type, and the data has come through. And that's all because I was able to customize the mapping here at the top in my mapping file. So we think this should be very helpful for customers that work with different vendors that have different naming schemes. It gives a little bit of flexibility to that PCF structure where you can still get data into the product.
Thank you for watching this snapshot video. If you would like to learn more about support tags in Caesar 2, please follow the links in the video description below.